Your little boy, Samson, listen, listen. you know, they are secretly so mad. Seriously, this is why you need to understand that there are people who want to control your life. Whether you like it or not, there are people who intentionally want to control you, either in your working place, in your family, in your areas, wherever you live. There must be that word, or how likely selfish people you will meet in life, who will put it like obligated for you to be controlled by them. But the reason why some people will be obsessed with you, mad at you, nervous at you, is when they can't control you. Is when they can manipulate you. This is why you should always understand that people hate what they can't do, what control, manipulate, not destroy. So this is why you as a choosing, you as an individual, you need to understand that there are a lot of people who are seriously so depressed because they can't get the reason why you are so stubborn. This is what one of my friends tell me one day. He said, something, you are so stubborn, you are so arrogant. I look at it, I asked him question. I said, why do I look like someone who is stubborn? I laugh with everyone, I make people happy, we smile together, I don't frank face. What do you mean? He said, because you don't do what people do. I look at it, I say, oh, because there was a time because I do used to work in the night. So I was with this guy. So I do used to work with this guy before. So some of my friends went on my behalf to go and tell him, because of jealousy, that I always work in the night. I work too much. And because of that, that is why I don't care whether they do this, they do that. I look at it, I said, okay. And he publicly, shamefully, idiotically come to me and tell me, Sansa, why do you work in the night? I mean myself, once I tell you something, I forget it. I just leave it. I'm not that kind of person who will keep something in my mind. So after he asked me the question, he asked me the question, why do you ought to work in the night? I look at him, I said, I don't want to respond to a fool because right now you act like a fool. Why do you think you have the ability or the audacity to ask me what I do in my personal life? That means working under you simply means is a decree or obligated that you have the right to access to my life. You have the right to say what goes on, what don't goes on. I look at him, I said, let it be to the end today. If I ever hear that word from your mouth, I swear you won't be happy to see what I will do to you that day. He was shocked. He was just looking at me like that. So after everything he said, because you don't listen to what I tell you. You don't do what I tell you. I look at him, I said, why will I look at what you tell me? Because you are the reflection of what I am and what I have rejected in years back. Because the truth is that there are people who know that they are not going to be successful in life because they have hit the bucket and they are waiting to catch a lot of people to hit the same pocket. So this is why you need to understand that majority of people are upset with you, angry, nervous, all is because of the fact that you refuse to give them that reason. You refuse to give them the right. You refuse to give them the ability. You refuse to give them the chance to manipulate you, to use you. You refuse to give them that chance. And this is why many people up there are secretly so offended. This is why they are secretly so devastated. This is why they are secretly so angry. Why do you ought not to respond? Why is it that you don't obey? Why is it that you don't do this? Because many of them are secretly so upset of everything they see around you. Because you don't allow them to do or to manipulate you. You don't allow them to do whatsoever they want. Because let me tell you, many of us have these categories of people in our life. We have these people who their main mindset is just to control you. When I arrived here, there was one of my friends that I do used to mention that I was so annoyed with. When I mean annoyed, because of the evil they do and their practice that is contrary, and I can never do it. I have warned him not 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, to the point he start to advise some of his friends, because some of his friends to be doing all those that do all those stuff. He start to start to spread the news, to the point where I reported him to the police. It got to a point where he becomes so tired, because when I arrived, he was telling his friend, Samson is so kind, Samson is so good. Whatsoever we tell him, he will do. That means whatsoever they manipulate me to do, I will do. So when they discover that not whom they thought, that is whom I am, they start to hate me, to a point where one of my friend, a Nigeria guy, walk close to me and tell me, Sansi, do you know that not everyone in this home, everyone in this house, none of them love you? I look at it, I did not respond. Why? Because I accurately know that he himself do not also love me. So that is to tell you that when people can manipulate you, when they can control you, when they can use you, when they can destroy you, they will hate you. When people do not have too much access to operate your life, that is when they will start to call you name. That is when some people will start to tell you you are arrogant. I can remember when I was in school. I can remember those days when I was in school. There was one of my friends who used to tell me, Samson, you don't listen to somebody. You don't hearken to people. You don't do what we do. To a point where one lady tell me a word. He said, Samson, you see your friends, they are wiser than you. You don't do what they do. You don't do what they do. You don't do all these things they do. Can't you know that if you don't do it, nobody will help you? I look at him, I boast. I burst. I keep quiet. I did not respond. She became so tired and she walked away. Why? Because there are people who want to have access over your life. That the way you eat, the way you do, whatsoever you do will depend on them. They will be like the CEO of your life. So when they don't have that access, they start to hate you. You know what I'm saying? So remember blessed.